If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement, Male Advantage ebook, or my personal workout and diet plan, all links are in the bio. Okay guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're actually going to be spending most of the time at the screen. We're going to be going through some images. But I want to talk about Justin Bieber, okay? Now, I'm not exactly like a huge Bieber fan, but over the years, I've seen like pictures of him like popping up on like different social media platforms and in the news headlines. And every time I see one, I'm like, this guy just looks worse and worse and worse, okay? And anybody who's my age or around my age, I'm 28, knows that Bieber growing up was like the king, okay? From like 16 to 22, he was like the best looking guy. All the girls wanted him. He looked fantastic. Everybody was trying to imitate him to some extent. And kind of since then, he's really let himself go. And I always tell you guys about the high school to adult life switch, okay? It's a mentality thing. It's a physical thing. Everything's got to change. A lot of guys who are good looking, who have got things going for them, they don't make that switch. Because they don't need to. Life is good, they don't see any reason to go and improve, okay? So as life slowly starts to drag you down, which could be in the sense of a slight increase in body fat, 1% every year, and you don't really notice it, okay? This is a real thing. Let's say you're naturally 10% body fat at 20 years old, you're the man, you're getting all the girls. By 26 years old, you could be 16% body fat and you haven't really realized. You still think you're shredded because each year you've only put on 1%. And it's just slowly crept up on you. Okay, and you've got a ton of water retention because you've never had to worry about that shit before. So now you look a lot puffier. You're not living well and your hair starts to go all bitty. You know, I remember when I was going bald, I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, oh, I've got loads of hair. Like, I'd feel on top, I've got loads of hair. Somebody would take a picture from behind, it would look like terrible. But I think it would look great, okay? You can't see stuff when it happens to you slowly. And this is what happens to a lot of guys. They don't make that transition from the kind of like good-looking high school boy with the good looks who can get away with anything because stuff came naturally to them. Okay, they're nowhere near their peak. Men have to work for their peak. But when you are like 18, you do have a naturally low percentage of body fat. Metabolism's high. You have like that soft skin. You haven't got like that big beard and that like... you get that transition skin where it kind of goes from like soft and subtle to like more leathery and strong, like a masculine look. And there's like this transition stage where flicky hair and a skinny body doesn't really do well. Like everything goes a little bit wrong. And I saw... there was that song, I keep hearing it fucking everywhere, the Kid Laroi with Justin Bieber, that, is it Stay? Or something like that? I keep hearing it everywhere, and I was sat there, I was like, who the fuck is the Kid Laroi? I'm getting old now, I was like, who the fuck is this new kid? It's like that Family Guy scene when it was like, the older and older I get, the less people I recognize. That was me. And, I like searched this kid, and there was a picture with him and Bieber in that song Stay. And I was like, okay, like, let's, you know, what's going on with Bieber these days? And I was like, fuck, he looks like a homeless 40-year-old. And I was like, God, like, his fall from grace is massive. But then I looked at him and I was like, he's the same guy. Like, not a lot's changed. He's pretty much, like, he's still doing the same shit. He still looks the same, still in roughly the same shape he was when he was a kid. And it's just like, there's subtle differences. But because he's older, it's made the world of difference. It's almost like 18, skinny with flicky hair. You're a stud, okay? You can get away with it. 28, skinny with flicky hair, with shit fashion, you know, like he kind of just wears like baggy shit. It doesn't play the same. It doesn't play the same. You know, but then when he does put on like a suit, it just looks like he's wearing his dad's old suit to a wedding, like a family wedding or something. He's just rented a tux. Because he hasn't got that frame, he hasn't transitioned. When he was young, oh, it looked great, you know, young little Bieber in a suit. Oh, isn't he cute? When you're 28 and you're skinny, you're wearing a suit, it looks fucking awful. You know, it just doesn't pack out the shoulders. It's funny how, like, when we're all 18, we're like, oh, we want to look like Bieber. But then you get to, like, closer to 30 years old, and you'd rather look like Ghost from Power. Do you know what I mean? It just like switches, and women's opinion just goes, oh, young pretty boy. No, I need a masculine man who's going to provide and pay the bills, etc. Who's going to fuck me like a rag doll. This shit is important as you get older. It never gets spoken about, okay? And I've got a serious video, like the second half of this video coming up for you guys now. I've got some serious imagery. We're going to break it down. You're going to love it. Personally, I think it's some of the best imagery I've ever displayed. And I found something shocking as well. You've seen it as the cover image, but it's me and Bieber together. But you can see a trend, okay? For like him to have his celebrity life and me to have just before all this, my non-existent, never been on camera life, and yet to still have the same kind of transition. And he's only like a year younger than me, so like roughly the same age. It's crazy, okay? When you see the pictures next to each other, it's like, fuck, how many other guys has this happened to? And you're going to relate so much. Let's move over. This is going to be fun. Okay, guys, so here's where we're going to start. And it always depresses me massively, man. Like, look how handsome Bieber was on the left. Like, he's just the ultimate heartthrob. Like, at 18, 19, 20 years old, every guy kind of wants to look like this, you know? The perfect hair, you know, great skin, great features, whatever. Like, he's gotten good athletic potential to, like, really bulk up and, you know, just be the kind of ultimate man. And, like, on the left, he just looks fantastic. Like, it's undeniable. As a straight man, you could even look and go, damn, there's a handsome guy. And you look on the right and it's like, you know it's the same person, it's just a different version of the same person, and it doesn't quite work the same, okay? So it's like I said, it's the same, but it doesn't work, okay? Like, he's still got the same features, the same nose, the same lips, everything, still a naturally handsome guy, but he's just got this water retentions, I'd say 6 or 7% body fat hired physique. And it just doesn't look too good. And obviously, like, the hair isn't like as youthful as it once was. It's come back a bit. It looks a little bit lackluster. Okay? Which is fine. Like, this is the thing. Like, I've always said, men don't peak until they're 37 years old. Okay? That's like the peak. That's like the ultimate potential that a man could ever reach. As long as he puts the work in. And a man's life doesn't really start until he's 30. I'm starting to think it's closer to like 28, 29 if you put the work in. But yeah, it's 30 like financially for a lot of guys. So it takes a long time, okay? So what am I getting at here? Well, this transition period from this to this shouldn't technically happen. As a man, you should be getting better every single year. But what so many guys do is they might start here, and they might have their youthful looks. You know, you don't even have to look like Bieber. You just have to look like the best looking version of your young self. But then what they do is, because they have all this in place, you know, sex with young women comes easy. You know, they're enjoying life. They got that high school mentality of, as long as I wear chains and earring and have flicky hair and have a tattoo, I can get any woman I want, right? Which kind of works at high school. It kind of works to some extent, all right? Now, he's a celebrity, so his rules are different. But what he hasn't done is put the work in as he's got older. It's been too easy for him. Like I said, he's got everything in place here. He's like the perfect young guy. But as he's got older, he's let himself go, okay? So all he has to do from, I believe he's like 27 here, about 20 years old here. So for 7 years, all he has to do is put on 1% body fat every single year until he gets to this stage. Now, he's still relatively low percentage body fat. Okay, like here he could have been like 10, 11%. I know he had abs and stuff. Up here, 16, 17%. As you can see, the jawline has disappeared. Okay, the face is way puffier. Like, he's definitely holding zero water in his face here. He's eating vegetables. He's eating, you know, a very clean diet. He's getting exactly what he needs because he was being minded back then. Like, he had people looking after him. He had dietitians. Then it was off the rails Bieber. So yeah, he's done a lot of drugs, he's drank a lot of shit, etc. But you can just see he just doesn't look the same. Like, the amount of puffiness under his eyes, in his face here. The nose is crisp, okay? I've got down to like 12, 11% body fat recently. My nose bone is popping. Like, I know that sounds so weird, but my nose bone is like, the ridge of it is really popping. I've got extra grooves to it. Instead of it just looking like some puffy ball of mush, there starts to be angles to it. And the same thing has happened to Bieber here, okay? But in reverse. Like, he's got the puffy nose back. It looks a little bit more pig-like rather than this, like, solid nose bone here with the grooves, etc. And I know That's a random photo in the street and whatnot, but you can see a clear difference, okay? And a lot of guys don't realize that this is going to happen. Like, you haven't had to worry about your diet when you were young because you were just naturally in shape. So as you get older, it creeps up on you. You start retaining a lot of water. The jawline disappears. You just think it's a sign of aging. And this is why so many women will say stuff like, yeah, but I don't really find older guys attractive. It's like, yeah, because these older guys don't have the knowledge to keep themselves in shape. They should be in their peak. But because things were so easy when they were young, they had no reason to improve. I've often said people with cancer know more about cancer than doctors because they're the ones who have to survive from it. You know, bald guys know more about how to keep your hair than guys with hair because they're the ones who have researched it, etc. You know, guys who don't get girls probably know more about getting girls than guys who actually get girls because they've had to research it and understand it better and test different formulas, whereas the guys who get girls who are young are just good looking. Right, so you have this system where a lot of guys that are blessed with good looks when they're young, they end up not looking so good later on down the line because they never see the need to make that transition from a boy to a man, which he hasn't done. He's still a boy, but he's got all the flaws that come with being a man, slightly lower metabolism, the boyish kind of like the glowing skin can go away, okay? So instead of looking like some young heartthrob, you end up looking like a more of a like the Punisher type look, you know, like a masculine man with some stubble, some battle scars, whatever. And that can look good on the right physique. But if you're just going to add water weight and body weight, like body fat, just doesn't look as good, okay? It's the same guy. It's an aged version that's just not taken enough care on himself. Now, he's famous, he doesn't have to care, and people will say that, but he's still with a model. Have you seen the woman he's with? Yeah, I have, and when they're together, it looks kind of pathetic, okay? She's in her prime, looking like a superstar. He just looks like some average bum on the street. Now, the reason they're together is because he's rich and famous. You take that out of the equation, this guy doesn't get near a woman like that, okay? Even when he looked like this, if he wasn't rich and famous, yeah, he's getting girls, but he's not getting that high level, okay? So you've got to take that into consideration. But this is what I found really interesting, okay? This is a picture of me when I was young and a picture of me when I was 26. This is crazy, guys. This is absolutely crazy. Now, I'm not saying I'm Justin Bieber. I'm saying he's 10 times more handsome than me there, right? But at the same time, look how similar the declines are. You know, young, handsome guy, nice hair, you know, solid kind of like, I haven't got the best jawline in the world there. It's quite a skinny face. He's got quite a skinny face, but a good jawline. Like, he's slim, okay? It's a slim face. It's a slim jawline. Everything's narrow, you know, but the nose is on point. The nose is on point. There's at least like some level of nose bone poking out and whatever, you know, everything just looks a little bit sharper, everything looks youthful, etc. And then both of us have got older and look, retained a ton of water, added a percentage of body fat we didn't realize we had. Back then it was after a tournament, it was a hot day, I ended up looking more shredded than I was, but I was like 13-14% body fat back then. Whereas, or like maybe like 12, 13 to be honest. Yeah, during this picture I was probably like 12, 13 because of the lack of water I had in my body. I was knackered after a football tournament. But here I blew up to probably like 18, 19% without even realizing. And I've just got this puffy face. The hair becomes a lot more lackluster. You know, it's a very similar decline, okay? And a lot of guys go through this. And they say, oh, you know, I'm just getting older. It's just a matter of aging. It's like, guys, it's not true. And I'll show you why. Because here's me again. For you guys who know. And this is 19 years old over here. Probably 20, yeah, maybe 20. I was 19 or 20 years old over here. I was 26 here, so roughly where Bieber is now. And then over here, I'm 28 years old, okay? And bear in mind, here, I've just finished a football tournament. I'm absolutely drained. Here, I've probably eaten a big bowl of carbs, big bowl of pasta and oats. I wasn't planning on doing any videos. That's not even a photo either. It's just a still from a video. That's how I get all my photos. And here I'm like competition fucking ready in terms of like where obviously I wouldn't win a competition there, but I'm just saying in terms of like how I was at that time, that's probably like the peak condition for me. Whereas here it's just a random Saturday turning up after tons of food, loads of carbs and going, hey, should we just get some videos? And it's just worlds apart, okay? Like, you might think that this guy on the left is better looking than this guy. Okay, that's your opinion. I guarantee you're 21 or under if you think that. Any guy who's a man or any woman who's over the age of 18 would prefer this guy. Okay, the reason I know that is because that's what I'm experiencing in my life now. I'm getting 10 times more women looking like this than looking like that, okay? It's just a masculine transition thing. It just helps a lot more. But like I said, 19, 26, 28 years old, okay? Which is crazy because you think you've gone from a high level to the lowest possible level I could ever be at to probably the highest level I've ever been at in my life, with like cheekbones showing, you know, solid nose bone, skin looking better, ton of muscle, neck's about twice the size as it is there. You know, as lean as I was there, probably a little bit leaner to be honest. If I were to go proper competition, you know, if I were to eat the right foods in the morning and whatever, you know, legs are like, you can't see them there, but I've got another picture you guys have seen. Legs are like double the size they were there. You know, probably like double the size they were there, to be fair. And that's what you have to do, okay? You have to do that transition. And this is why I said Justin Bieber needs a transition. Like, he needs to transition now from a boy to a man. He hasn't done that. And he's gone from this, and he's going to end up here. Another year or two, he's going to be exactly here. He already looks awkward as fuck. He already is probably like a tenth of the man he was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Well, this can happen. But you need to make this transition, okay? And this is a message for all you guys out there. As you get older, society will tell you get worse, okay? Society will tell you, oh, men are aging, they get ugly. As they get older, they get bald and they get fat and they don't look as good as they used to. That's why it's good to go for younger men. It's not the reality, okay? And what ends up happening is these guys that transition from like who I was here to here, they end up downgrading and getting with like an uglier woman. They just marry, they get fat, they just give up, right? The guys who then do this, which is why I say like Bieber needs to do this transition next. Otherwise, I've got a feeling he's going to lose that woman, Hailey, that he's with. I'm just going to predict it now, okay? I know looks aren't everything, but I guarantee at some point she's going to bounce. It's just hard to put up with when somebody still looks like a child in their 30s. I see this shit coming, okay? And you guys need to make this transition to here. This is high school. This is transition. This is man life, okay? This is when you grow into a man. And I'm not done yet. I'm not saying like I'm far from perfect. I don't think I'm necessarily a good-looking guy or anything like that. I've always said that to you guys. But fuck me, I look far better on the right than I do in any of the other two pictures. You know, like I said, you might think this on the left is better. But, you know, it's very young. It's just immature face. Like, my face is wider. I've been chewing gum since then. I've got better cheekbones. My head is generally just bigger. You know, it actually matches my ear size now. My ears look huge back then. Like, everything is fuller. The body's fuller. You know, I've got more money and stuff here. Like, my life is better. I'm more mature. Back then, I was a dick. Like, there's just... Do you know what I mean, guys? It's that transition to a man, okay? This is a boy. Your life will fall apart if you don't work on yourself. It's just a natural part of aging. It's a weird thing as a man. Like I said, you kind of peak young. You think that's your ultimate peak. It's not. It's just this early peak. It's almost like a test to see how you respond. And most guys end up here where I am because they didn't work on themselves and they thought, hey, I look fine. Like, I thought I looked great here. I didn't know. I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, God, I look fantastic. Beard's on point. I had a beautiful woman at the time, and I was like, yeah, she's lucky to be with me. Like, that's kind of mentality. And then I look at this, and I go, oh my God, fuck me. My poor girlfriend at the time, she was sleeping with this? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I should probably go back and sleep with her again like this, just to say sorry. It's absolutely ridiculous, like the transition stage, and that's just like a 2-year period. Okay? It only took me like a year to get in this kind of shape, too. And this is what Bieber needs to do now. He needs to make this transition, because in my opinion... this kind of look, you know, when you were a kid, it was fine. You had like the soft, subtle skin, the nice hair and whatever. And it's not like it's the same guy. It just doesn't look as good. There's something missing. There's almost like life behind the eyes has just gone. Like the skin's just fading away slightly. But if he were to like bulk up, like go on 2 bulks and change this into like a masculine guy, if he were to like shave his head now and go for it like a 0.5 all over, I just think he'd transition into like an absolute heartthrob again. And this is what so many guys don't do. This is the picture that really got me kind of down, like just seeing this, okay? I kind of saw this picture. There's another one here, similar. Like it doesn't look good. And this kid's going to end up in the same place, the kid Leroy. He's going to end up in the same place, but he's 17. He can get away with it, okay? There's a video I want to do on him about his girlfriend as well. It's crazy. This picture as well, like, look guys, it's just a puffy, water retentioned, going bold version of what once was one of the most handsome men on the planet. And it's not changed too much, like same lips, same nose, same eyes, same brows, like there's not too much difference. It's just if you do not work on yourself and you do not transition from a boy to a man, it will all fall apart very slowly. And that's the danger, is you do not recognize it, okay guys? It's happened to me. I've shown you the pictures. The same fucking thing happened to me. And it's year by year. Like by the end of the year, you might be 2% body fat higher and you're holding just a little bit more water retention. You look in the mirror and you go, I'm the same guy. Like I look good. Like girls want me. Like girls have always wanted me. And then all of a sudden you see a before and after picture and you go, oh shit. Oh fuck, yeah, I'm like a different human being. And it's you haven't been in the gym, you haven't been working on yourself. Like he's lucky, obviously he's successful and whatever. Otherwise, you know, he'd be. This is why so many guys suffer from like depression and stuff, because they get older, their life starts to fall apart. They haven't been working on themselves, and they start. Oh, I'm getting old, life's shit. I'm gonna have to downgrade. I'm gonna have to settle for a woman that's worse. I'm gonna have to settle for a life that's worse. Or you hear those lines like, "Oh, I used to be, mate. Yeah, I used to be a good-looking guy. Oh, maybe back in the day, you know, I used to get loads of girls in my day." And it's like, who wants to live like that? Why would you want to let yourself go? Why would you not want to be on top, you know? Succeeding. But it's such... Sorry, this was the picture I saw. This depressed the hell out of me. This really depresses me. Because it is the same guy. It's just an older version. And it's like, this look when he was young was killer. As we can see on the left, it's kind of like a similar thing. Just, you know, he's not too badly dressed. It looks all right. But this kind of thing when he was young, when he was like 19, would have been amazing. Now that he's transitioning and becoming older, it's almost like, oh damn, you're starting to look like a bum. Like you're starting to look like an unemployed guy who just, you know, rolls around each day, just works an average job, rolls down the shop, grabs a Red Bull, comes back and games all night long. Like it's the shit that happens if you don't work on yourself. It even happens to Bieber, who's like the ultimate of our generation, you know? He did do this for a while. Like we can see, look, he was transitioning. Imagine this, but probably like another 10 kg on top of that, he would have retained this level of kind of water retention and body fat. Yeah, this hair might not have remained. Well, it might have, because he might have lived better. But with his money, he gets a hair transplant. He's back in the game. But this guy's, he'll be 30 years old, just killing it. You know, probably move into movies and stuff like that. I just think that would be a fantastic move for him. And he was on the way. He was doing this. But he didn't. He ended up just dropping off and going back the other way. But this is what could have happened. Like, it's a completely different human being to what we've got here. It's completely different, okay? And I know it's professional lighting and shit like that, but it's still a completely different person. Now, an example that I've got is it happened to Justin Timberlake. When I was growing up, this was Timberlake. He was like the heartthrob, not really in shape, not really out of shape. You know, when you're young, you have like, you can kind of just sit at like, I'd say he's like 16% body fat there, but he's obviously like young and kind of semi in shape. And you can kind of get away with this shit because you've got like the young, youthful look, the great hairline, etc. And it just looks fantastic. And he did do this mini transition. This was for alpha dogs. He got in decent shape. He shaved his head. He started like, that's a boy, that's a man, okay? He transitioned. I think if he had put on like another 5-10 kg, he could have really stepped into like a Chris Evans type of role or like a Chris Hemsworth type of thing, like how they've stepped it up. Michael B. Jordan, who we'll look at in a minute, he could have gone into one of those roles and really gone, you know, to the next level, Hollywood A-list style. Great actor, but I think he could have stepped it up again. He didn't. He kind of slacked off, and now he's like, he doesn't look bad. He's done very well, okay? He's maintained quite well throughout the years, but I'm just saying it's not, I don't think it's ever got better than this. Like, I think this might have been him at his peak just because it was a good blend of, like, wealth, maturity, etc. But I don't think looks-wise he's ever got better than this. Like, when he was really young. And now he just looks like a dad, okay? It's, like, the best picture of him that I could find. I want it to be kind. I like JT. But it's, you know, he's obviously doing well for himself. He's starred in a ton of films and whatnot. He's done voiceovers for, like, Trolls. He's killing it, man. But he kind of does just look like a dad. And he's not even old, you know, he could easily still be killing it. I still think this plus a ton of muscle is possible. You know, here he was really on his way. He just didn't quite, like he transitioned, but he didn't go all the way. And it's a real shame. But like I said earlier, if we just take a look at Bieber again, like how it all fell apart, okay? 19 years old, 27 years old, okay? Now is the time for a transition, as I said. Reason being is Michael B. Jordan. He was about 27 years old here and here. This was just before Fantastic Four, before he had to get in shape. And look at the submissive body language. Like, he's in between two guys and he just looks petrified of life. He looks a little bit dorky, let's be honest, guys. He looks like a bit of a nerd, a bit of a pushover. You wouldn't, like, men wouldn't take this guy seriously. He seems like the type of guy to be like, sorry, and moving out the way of everybody. Girls might be like, oh, he's famous, he's cute, right? But if he's not famous, he's just walking along the street, oh, he's okay, you know, he's kind of handsome, he's got something about him, but he's not for me. And what that always means is he's not a man. Like, I can't imagine this guy picking me up, slamming me on the bed, grabbing me by the throat, and pounding me through the fucking bed sheets. I've got to be the one to say it, guys, because nobody ever says this shit, okay? This is what women love. You younger guys, you're going to find this out as you get older. And then he transitions, okay? Now, girls look at this and they're like, this guy looks like he could steamboat me. This guy looks like an actual man. This guy's got a man's physique. He's transitioned. Like, even the jawline is wider. I imagine he's probably taking like HGH or TRT or something. But the jawline is wider. The head is bigger. The shape is stronger. The nose bone is stronger. The brow is stronger. Like, everything is more masculine, okay? Like I said to you guys the other day, he's built his masculine character. That's what he's doing. He's building that top level man, the outlier male, if you would. And this is when he stepped into adult life. So for me, he's still a child here. I just still see this as being a child. Like, he's got a ton of water retention in the cheeks. He doesn't have the best jawline as it is. And then he transitions here. And get rid of the water retention, the body fat, he's added a ton of muscle, the traps are looking huge, you know, he's got the abs and stuff. He's still not that lean. I think it's because he played as Killmonger, who he bulked up for. You know, he's probably like 12% body fat there. It could be higher, to be honest. It's just the muscle mass that's making him look absolutely huge. But he just looks fantastic. It's the same guy. You can see he's got the exact same features. You would know that was the same guy, but it's just 10 times better. It's just a different evolution of the same man. And you guys know I've done a Male Advantage journey on Michael B. Jordan. You go and watch it on the channel. It's really fun. I love doing them. I'll probably bring out a Henry Cavill one soon. I might do a Drake one as well. I really like them. They're easy to make. They're quite cool. It's just the research that takes a while. But you guys can go and watch that video. It's very telling, seeing how he evolves through the years. Just search Michael B. Jordan first, man. It'll come straight up. But I just find this kind of fascinating. Like, 27 years old, roughly about there. Here, I think he's like 33, isn't he? Like 32, 33 years old. And he's just a different beast. Like, here, he's dating 10s. Here, if he's not famous, you know, like, if he's not famous here, he's probably still dating 10s, okay? As long as he's got some level of success. Here, he's probably dating like 4s and 5s. You know, he's probably walking around with like an overweight chick. This is another picture I want to show you guys as well. Is this the first time you've ever seen Bieber just look like an old man? You know, kind of look, rounded head, there's no angles to it anymore. This really depressed me, man. Let's zoom in. That's depressing, right? I don't want to shit on Bieber either. Like, I'm sure the guy's not going to watch this video and be like, damn, fuck you, dude. Like, he's probably not going to watch a First Man video, right? And I'm actually making this video to help other guys. And, you know, if he did see it, I'd love to get him in shape. I'd love to help him. I'd love to transition him. I think there's a lot of shit he could do. He's got a ton of potential, right? But he just kind of looks like a short, podgy, bold, middle-aged guy already. And it's the first time, like, Kid Leroy looks pretty cool there. Like, the angles that he's popping. Bieber just kind of looks awkward. He looks like an uncle at a wedding, like trying to dance around. And it's just getting to that point, okay? And it's really sad to see because, like I said, he hasn't transitioned. Okay, so there's just 2 more pictures I want to show you guys, okay? There's number 1 here. You know, she's stepping out looking pretty good. It's not like unbelievable, but she's stepping out looking pretty good. Most normal guys on the street would be quite happy to be seen with her. I think most guys would sleep with her. You know, she put on a nice dress, done herself up a bit. He's stepping out looking like an ice road trucker. But, you know, it's up to him how he wants to live and whatever. I'm just saying, like, it makes you depressed. Like, nobody's happy when they don't look good, okay? He's famous, he's getting away with it. But this is what I'm trying to save you guys from depression. I get like 50 comments a day from guys saying, you got rid of my depression, I'm no longer suicidal, I used to slit my wrists, thank you, I don't do it anymore. It's not because I'm fucking special, I just understand human life. I understand psychology, I know how people work. Everybody's happy when they're getting women. You know, everybody's happy, or you know, you could be gay when you're getting mem. Everybody's happy when you look good. Everybody's happy when they're low percentage body fat and they got less water retention. The videos I released yesterday, I had like a double chin appear, and I was like, what the fuck? And I tracked my carbs for the day. It was like the only day that I've been like under 100 grams of carbs for a long time, and I've been sleeping really well. And I ended up eating like 200 grams of carbs for like 2 days running. And I've been sleeping terribly for the last week, trying to sort a lot of shit out. Had a touch of insomnia. I don't know why. Honestly, I have no idea why. But I think COVID threw my sleep pattern out of sync. Obviously, and I had COVID as well. It didn't help. And I saw that I had like a slight like water retention under my chin, which I used to get before. And I was talking to my friend about it, and he was like, mate, it happens to me all the time, and I get so depressed. So I was like, okay, I can fix it for you quite easily. I'll show you how to do it. And I fixed mine in like 24 hours. I've done it multiple times before. It's very easy to do. I'll make a video on it soon. But he was like, it makes me depressed. Like, I always feel shit. I always get down about it. Like, I'm some fat guy. It's like, yeah, Bieber, you can walk out doing whatever you want to do. You can dress however you want to dress. You can eat whatever you want to eat. You can live however you want to live. Right? But it's just a waste of potential. And that's why I make these videos, because so many of you guys out there, I know, are sat there womanless. Okay? Like, I've been there. Like, you don't look your best. You don't feel good. You've just been through a breakup and she's already fucking someone else because she's a woman. It's easy to do. And you're feeling depressed and suicidal. You know, and then people maybe attack me and say, oh, you know, why are you going at Bieber? Like, he can live however he wants to live. It's like, yeah, but I got guys in the comments. I can save their life with a video like this. You know, it's just showing people that transition. There's guys that will be 25, 26 years old, and they're like, I'm old now, my life's going nowhere. I better settle with somebody ugly. It's like, yeah, but do you really want that? Because I can transition you, but you just need to know that, you know, going for a run isn't the way to do it. You need to become a man. You need to start lifting heavy weights. You need to start, you know, changing your diet. You need to start worrying about things like water retention and, you know, taking care of your skin, stuff that you didn't have to worry about before. You have to start worrying about your fashion in more of a masculine sense. Like, I actually feel sorry for Hailey Bieber, man. I actually feel sorry for her. Like, she's clearly like an attractive young woman. And she kind of got with Justin when he was like young and handsome, and he's just kind of letting himself go day by day. He just seems moody and depressed all the time. It's like, fuck me, man. I just don't think she's going to stick around, right? But you got all these guys, like I said, that are just getting depressed. They're getting to like 25, 26 years old. They're gaining weight. They're gaining that puffiness. The hair's starting to go. And they're just like, I don't know where my life is going. Everything's getting worse. And it's like, well, yeah, because you have to transition to a man. The whole high school, nice hair, put no effort in, still look good shit, low percentage body fat, high metabolism, eat whatever you want, it only lasts so long. You go out partying for 3-4 years in your 20s, you're going to be fucked, okay? From like 20 to 24, you go out drinking every weekend, you're probably going to be fat and ugly when you get older. It's just natural, it's cause and effect, your body gets destroyed. But at some point, you have to go, okay, I'm going to clean up my life. I'm going to go to bed early. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to start lifting heavy weights. I'm going to build a masculine frame. You know, if my hair is going, I'm either going to shave it, buzz it, whatever, do something about it. I'm going to focus more on success, start building assets around myself. I'm going to improve my wardrobe, you know. Like, for example, like right now, imagine, like, if she was arm in arm with a guy who was like, you know, same height as Justin, same kind of age as Justin, you know, same attitude as Justin, same person, right? But he had just packed himself out muscle-wise, made himself look good, living a clean life, low water retention, low body fat, and he's wearing like nice fitted jeans, nice formal shoes, and like a skin-tight kind of muscle-fit jumper. And, you know, I'm sure she'd be a lot happier, right? And I know people will say, oh, that's such a silly thing to mention. It's only this channel that really mentions shit like this, and maybe more plates, more dates. He's kind of on that same vibe. You know, but women love that sort of thing. They love to walk along the road with their man looking good. They might, like, I was with a woman for so long. She's beautiful, right? Curvy, beautiful. She's Indian, Caribbean, or Caribbean, Indian. I don't know what the dominant gene would be there. But she was like absolutely stunning and curvy, guys looking at her all the time. I'm walking down the road looking like a bum, as you've seen in that picture, and she's staying loyal to me and she's telling me she loves me and shit like that. Whereas in reality, post-relationship, you know, I can look back and go, fuck, I feel sorry for her. Like, I'm sure she would have preferred it if I looked the way I do now. I'm sure she would have enjoyed the sex a lot more. I'm sure she would have been more proud walking down the street with me absolutely jacked wearing like a skin-tight t-shirt or jumper and just looking packed out, and other girls are looking at you and she's like, that's my man, he's mine. Like, I'm sure, like, of course, right? Of course. And you need to make that transition, like I said, because you cannot be a little boy forever. You cannot dress in hoodies forever. You cannot just eat what you want and live like shit and go to bed at 4 in the morning and drink alcohol and be like, hey, I've always lived like this. I'm a party boy. Eventually it'll catch up on you. Oh, I want to be fat. I want to look like this. This is how I want to live my life. Buddy, fine. Crack on. Go ahead with it. I make this video for people who want to do something about it. And that's not saying those people are better. I'm just saying that's my clientele. That's my audience. I like ambitious men. Sounds like I'm talking about my dating type, but I like ambitious men. That's what I like. That's who I hang around with. That's who I relate to. I like guys that say, okay, yeah, I want to do something about this. You know, and there's nothing worse than like a young, handsome Chad type guy that guys always talk about being like the high school jock or the popular guy, has the good looking girl. They get to like 35 and they're just like old, bald, you know, skin just looks all flaky and red because they haven't taken care of themselves. They're out of shape. They're like 28% body fat. They're depressed. They're pissed off with life. They're angry at everybody else. They're in a shit job. It's like, yeah, at some point you got to go through that transition, okay? Yeah, Bieber's fine. He's a celebrity. Don't judge your life on celebrity standards. They're completely different, okay? But for you, if you did the transition that Bieber's done here negatively, your life's going to shit, okay? Life's going to be way worse. If you want to add these mini male advantages to your life, it's something that I talk about all the time. It just makes your life easier. Oh, Chris, why do you try so hard to look good for women? Because I don't have to chase women. It just makes my life easier. Because I'm not on Tinder 6 hours a day. Because I don't cry myself to sleep because I'm single. Because I don't have to masturbate. It's all these things, right? I don't have to waste time chasing women. Like, the better I look, the easier it becomes. Like, you end up getting an 8 or a 9 approaching you and asking for your number. Then she follows you up with a text and you're just like, do you want to come over? You know, you have sex with her that night. So what have I wasted? 3 hours of my time. Then back on the business, back in the gym. Like, I got what I want. It made my life easier. I feel good about myself. I'm happy. Like, that's why I do these sort of things. And I'm not even like a good looking guy. I just make the best of myself. And this just that transition from a boy to a man. Now we've got another picture here. It's probably one of my favorite pictures ever. It just almost looks like a brother and a sister who are the same age. Do you know what I mean? It's just like she's coming out looking like a dime piece. She's obviously like dressed up for the night. She looks fantastic, looking like a like kind of Victoria's Secret model vibes. I don't know if she is, but I don't know. Like most of these girls that are famous are now. And then Bieber's stepping out in what looks like his dad's kind of tux. Like it doesn't, when you don't have the muscle, it just doesn't fit right. Men in suits need muscle. It's just kind of, it just looks better, okay? Or at least like, you don't need to be lean either. Like you can just be jacked, but you just need to be a little bit bigger than, otherwise, yeah, like young boys in suits just look like they're going to a prom. You know, everybody knows that look. And that's exactly how Bieber looks to me here in this picture. And obviously, like, the hair is fading away. It's not, like, strong, and it doesn't look as youthful as it once was. It doesn't, like, feather up and make him look cool. The face is a little bit puffy. He's holding water. Cheekbones are dropping because he's probably not working on himself and whatever. And you can see the man is kind of, like, falling apart and aging in front of our very eyes. And this is the kind of scenes that you get, is like a woman in her prime with a guy like this. If he wasn't famous, he wouldn't be able to get her. Okay, and this is the transition period. Now, if he goes and works on himself for the next 10 years, gets super jacked, spends a little bit of money on himself, you know, lowers that water retention, really focuses on health and whatever and lifestyle, and his mental health as well. I know he's like suffered with that, of course, which I think this has contributed to it, the way his life's gone. Well, in 10 years' time, he'll be the good-looking one, she'll be the ugly one. It's a weird switch. It's almost like when you're young, it's a massive test for men. It's almost like, here we go, we're going to give you an early peek to see how you deal with it. And how you respond to this is going to decide the rest of your life. And the guys who are absolute winners are the ones who react to it best. And it's usually the guys that are ugly when they're young, or out of shape when they're young, or suffered when they were young. Maybe they got bullied or something like that. Maybe they didn't have it all handed to them because they appreciate it more. They go, okay, I want to change things. I only see things going up from here. Whereas when you get everything handed to you on a plate, you just let it slide because you don't really ever see it as a problem. You don't ever really see it as, oh, I have to work on this, okay? And it just slowly disappears. And, you know, this, like I said, this picture at the start, it scares me. It scares me. Me and Bieber are completely different people, but our life's kind of matched in that sense. Like, he's living a celebrity lifestyle with a ton of money. I was just growing up as a normal kid, and we kind of went through the same fucking transition. Like, we don't exactly like look the same, but it's very similar. Like, hair, young, lean, and then both of us losing our hair, getting puffy, holding water, looking like a puffier version of ourselves, wearing baggy clothes. It's like, it's just scary how that's happened, okay? But then every guy, like I said, can make that boy to man transition. It's just up to you guys. It's up to you what you want to do. But if you don't make that transition, I promise you, your life is way worse. Because even if he looked like he did on the left, but he was 30 years old, yeah, it can work to some extent. But it doesn't work all the way, okay? You just need to transition to a man. Like a 30-year-old skinny pretty boy, yeah, it'll work to some extent. You know, if you've got a decent level of success, it'll really work. If you're famous, it'll, you know, it doesn't matter what you do, okay, if you're famous. But for the average guy on the street, 30-year-old skinny pretty boy, wearing, let's say, like, he's dressed pretty well on the left. I actually think it's pretty good, but I think his look looks good. But if you're dressed in like hoodies and cargo pants, like cargo trousers like he does, flip-flops, whatever, it's just not gonna slide, okay, guys? Like I said at the start, women want a guy like the transitioned Michael B. Jordan in a suit. They want Ghost from Power. Like, that's what they want, okay? They want like when The Rock puts a suit on, he's not necessarily the best looking guy in the world. He's bold, like, I know he's on steroids and stuff like that. Like, he has a couple of faults, right? But when The Rock puts a suit on, girls are like, damn, he looks really good. Jason Statham's the same. You know, like, Chris Hemsworth puts a suit on or like a tight jumper and girls are just falling all over the place. It makes a big difference, okay? Because they look like a man. They look dependable. They look as though they're ready for stage 2 of life. And so the message I want to leave you with is, don't rely too much on youthful looks, okay? And also, don't put too much attention on it. If you're starting to slide, you're starting to lose your hair, you're starting to not look as good as you used to, and you feel like you peaked at 18, it's not. It's just like an early test, okay? You're just transitioning into a man. It's a very difficult time. It's almost like a second puberty. It's just this one requires work, okay? This one requires some sacrifice. It requires you to change your lifestyle. You can't just walk to the fridge, grab a block of cheese, a milkshake, you know, and spray fucking whipped cream in your mouth and get away with it anymore. You can't wake up looking lean with a six-pack in the morning. You can't go and drink 10 beers with the boys, get up, you know, go straight out and attract 2 girls and get fucking 10 numbers. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to work, okay? The same shit doesn't happen when you get older. You need to become self-accountable for your actions when you get past a certain age. Like going to bed at 3 in the morning, watching late night cartoons, drinking 2 or 3 beers on a Wednesday night and just being like, hey, it doesn't matter, you know, I got 5 girls texting me, trust me, it won't last. You know, and it's not even about the women, it's about feeling good about yourself, guys. It's about feeling confident. Women are a bonus. They're like batteries in my life. I just add them to stuff, right? They're just like, oh, I've got a brilliant life. I've got what I want. I'm happy. I'm positive. I'm going on holiday next week. I'm driving a nice car. Oh, and I'm just going to add this woman to it. You know, she's gonna be added to it. It's just like an added bonus, okay? It's just something extra that you can do. But it's about how you feel about yourself, because these sort of things, when you look good, it gets rid of depression. It gets rid of, you know, anxiety. You feel confident. Everybody feels positive when they know they look good or they feel good about themselves or they've put in the work and they've got the results. And there's nothing that feels better than when you transition from a boy to a man. Because like Bieber on the left, top left there, real handsome guy in his prime there, at the time, like the prime for how his life's gone so far. You can't hold a candle to like Henry Cavill, you know, or current form Michael B. Jordan. Like, even when Bieber looked at his best, like, girls would still have gone off with Henry Cavill, Chris Hemsworth. They'd still go off with Idris Elba now, like, because they're just men. Like, they're built better. They look more masculine. Like, everything's come together. It looks like the finished article. Bieber's like a good-looking young boy. It's different, okay? It's like, we all know what it's like. You see, like, a young girl. She's hot, okay? She's a little bit immature. Then she gets to like 25 and she cleans up her look. She starts dressing in like that sexy like pencil skirt, long kind of trench coat workwear, you know, and we're like, okay, like she's really sorted herself out. Instead of like dyeing her hair blue, she's now like done it a decent color. She looks sophisticated. She's like cleaned up her act, the way she like walks and talks. She doesn't get drunk anymore. And it's just a completely different animal. And men go, okay, that's a good blend of like sophistication and beauty and sex appeal together. As long as she's in the gym, keeping herself in shape or whatever, and she's still youthful, it looks great. Women think the same about us. You turn up, you're jacked, you're in like a nice waistcoat and slim fit shirt. You know, you look fantastic, you're mature, you're like running a business. It's going to have a much bigger effect than, hey, I'm handsome and I've got I've got nice hair. Like, it just doesn't work the same, okay? And so many guys don't see this transition from a boy to a man coming. But if you end up going downhill, and I know a lot of you are looking like me and Bieber on the right there, and you know your life's going downhill and you're feeling depressed, it gets better. You just got to put the work in, okay? But knowing that this is a real thing and raising awareness about this is going to save so many male lives and help male depression so much that I think it was worth making. If you want to grab our men's lifestyle supplement, Male Advantage ebook, or my personal workout and diet plan, all links are in the bio.